Welcome back to the Raspy Rundown, everybody.
Hello, you're back. Back in the warmth.
Yeah. The
I'm
Raspys are now far
jealous.
apart.
We're very far apart, but close in heart. So let's recap what we did when we last filmed. We were talking about going to axe throwing, and we were going to have a fun time, a really fun time, because I had done it once before. So let's recap how that went and how it didn't go, and how the dinner was.
Okay, so this is insane. We go to this small little town in a farther part of Connecticut, and it's all like I'm excited. I think my brother's excited to throw some axes. You have hyped this place up like no other, Mom. You were like every single day. It was so much fun. It was the three girlfriends. I got a bullseye. The guy shows you how to do it. You get flights of alcohol. So you made it sound like such a fun, cool experience. And we got there. And like, yes, granted, it was Thanksgiving weekend, so I feel like a lot of the stuff was dead. But when we went inside, the girl was like, "Oh yeah, it's through here," and she took us next door to the restaurant. There's like a restaurant, and then you go next door to where they do the axe throwing. And she took us, and it's literally a tiny, dark little room that's not taken care of. There's like paint on the floor. There's buckets of construction work things. Freezing. There was no heat in the dead of fall. It was a freezing cold room, and it looked like there was two spaces to do the axe throwing, but neither of them had been kept up. They were completely like falling apart. There was just wood on the floor, wood pieces. You could totally get tetanus there, I think, if you didn't have a tetanus shot, like all the rusty nails. Then you go to the dartboard, and the dartboard is literally in the back maintenance room. So obviously that hallway is used to keep supplies, and they just put up two dartboards, but it's not really like a room to play darts. It's kind of dangerous. And then the darts starting to fall apart. So we were trying to throw the axe, and none of them would stick. And remember, you said you had an instructor when you went? Well, yeah.
No, we didn't have a good instructor. Well, the guy that set us up last time was amazing. He wasn't there. It was a young girl that just started a month ago, so she knew nothing about the way to play. And if it was a damaged, damaged board. And excuse me, like last time we talked, I was a little bit reserved. I'm getting over a cough. So if I cough a little, it's not that I'm not animated. I'm just trying not to cough into the microphone. But basically, I was really disappointed because there was no instruction. But to make it even worse, the actual axe throwing thing, the actual thing you throw into was really dilapidated. Like Alexandra said, it was terrible. And so even when you and Dad scored, you guys couldn't score on the bullseye. There was no way to keep this bullseye, or to get a bullseye, I should say, because the board is falling apart. So it was a disaster. It was freezing as hell. I did drink some of the flights, the margaritas. That was fun to get me more like wound up. My good friend Tao was the one that gave me the direction how to throw it. But I tell you the truth, even with her not being there, if she had come, I don't think it would have helped much because I could not get anything to stick. The board was falling apart. And I just think that next time we got to move it somewhere else. There's plenty of other places that have axe throwing that's done much better and in better shape, and you have a better chance to do it. It just was not fun. And it was a long way to go. However, then we went to the Twisted Vine, which you were so excited to do. And I was so thrilled to do it again because it was an empty restaurant that night. So we had a waitress that was so animated and so into being like the focus of talking about ghost hunting and what it's like to have spirits and what this restaurant meant to her and her experiences. It was incredible. You could take it from there, Alexandra. It was just, we were very fortunate to have her as our waitress and as our tour guide.
Shout out Colleen. Colleen was absolutely amazing, our waitress. It was the most amazing experience. Let me just say, I love those margarita flights. What did we have? We had like prickly pear, strawberry, guava. They were so good. They really got me through that cold time.
Yeah. Even Evan tried a little one. Remember, he took a teeny
Evan took his first sip of alcohol. Was that his first sip of alcohol?
His first sip.
Oh.
But he does, I think he's more of he likes when something's sweeter than if it's like a beer or wine.
Well, it tasted like fruit juice. That's what he said. So that's probably why he liked it. He probably saw it was purple and was like, "Oh, let me try."
I know.
But the Twisted Vine restaurant, Evan is such a non-believer. First of all, it's in an old bank. So it was this bank in like the 1800s and then all the way to the 1950s. And there was a man named Sam who ran the bank, and she took us into the room, which is still the same as it was back then, where there's no ventilation. There's like a few holes poked around because they needed to breathe when they were counting their money at the bank. And there was embezzlement or some sort of shady dealings going on. And nobody knows if Sam knew about it or was blindsided, but regardless, the shame he couldn't handle. So he went to the cemetery, which is next door, like a little bit down, and he killed himself. And so people say his spirit haunts that bank. And then on top of that, there was a flood, I think in the 50s, and it washed 2 cemeteries worth of caskets into the restaurant or the bank. And so all the caskets were just bobbing in water in the bank, and all those spirits haunt as well. And there's a
little girl, right?
A little girl. Nobody knows where she came from. There's been some talks about, a bad guy down the road that, was not great to children. Maybe she came from there. But Colleen was telling us that there are literally so many mediums who have come in there, including one of her friends who knows nothing about the situation. And they all point out the same ghosts, the same people. They're like, oh my God, there's dead people everywhere. The stench is horrible. And obviously to us, we can't smell it or see any of it. But people say the same things. And then when you take photos, we saw she saw a black figure in her photo years ago.
Yes. The green light. There was a green light blinking. Yeah, it's really, if you're not a believer, it's not as exciting or fun. But if you're a believer, it's so fascinating. And everybody should go and watch it. I think it's on Prime Video.
I just watched it. It's called.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Oh, good.
Kindred Spirits. I just watched it last night. It's incredible.
Did you watch?
I watched it all. Yes, I have like a little bit left, but not. I watched all of the haunting.
Well, you didn't watch it last night. Last night was your big night.
No, Monday night. Sorry, I watched it Monday night. Yeah, last night.
Last night was a big night for Alexandra.
2 nights ago, I watched it Monday night, and it was incredible. And I have a little bit left, but I watched all of the part of the one that we saw. And there's these people who go in. I do think that one guy who's in the documentary puts it on a little bit. He's a little bit very eccentric. But they go and they talk about the experiences there. And she gave us a personal tour because the restaurant was so empty. We got to go all around up into the attics. And we saw where the guards used to stand with guns, where the little girls' toys are. And Colleen literally was like, don't follow us, spirits, or we're coming up now, because she so fully believes that they're there, which I do too.
That's right.
And not for nothing, but their food was amazing.
Their food was really good. That didn't hurt. And I mean, I think Evan was okay with it, right? I mean, he liked his food.
Yeah. The portions were huge. And I kept leaning over to Evan and I was like, wow, I can't believe Sam made this cheesecake. It's delicious. And then there was a guy singing Taylor Swift. I said, wow, I can't believe Sam possessed that guy into singing Taylor Swift. And he was like, what? Like, he didn't find it funny at all. But it's like, Evan, make some eye contact first and foremost. I don't think anyone teaches boys these days to make eye contact to play video games. It's really bad. Like,
that's true.
The waitress is like, what do you want? He's like, I'll take a Caesar salad. I'm like, hello, look at her.
Thank God he does not listen to or watch this website or our videos. We would be in a lot of trouble.
I know.
But it is true. I don't know how he's going to do all these interviews with no eye contact. I think
seriously, why does he not make eye contact? I
think it's like not interest. I think if I notice, like if he's really interested, like banking, he'll be like glued to you and he'll just be like, look at me. But I really think Evan should have been in the acting world like you and Olivia, because I think that would have helped with the eye contact and, just being animated and acting, pretending he's interested in the ghosts, pretending he's interested with Colleen.
Well, Colleen literally turned to you and said, I don't think he cares, because she was talking to him and he wasn't even looking. It's like, even when someone's taking your food order, don't you think you should look? And then he was like, I don't believe in any of this. And it's like, Evan, like, give it a chance, like, open your mind a little bit. Then on top of it, every answer sounds like this, like, yeah, sure. Okay, yeah. I mean, you think we're raspy. This man might have nods on his voice. Something needs to check him out.
That is pretty funny.
He mumbles when he talks.
Yeah. And I'm slowly getting back on track. Once I get my medication tomorrow morning, I'll still be raspy, but this coughing will go away, because I feel like on the last video, I apologize to everyone, especially if you watched it on YouTube and you didn't listen, because you can listen. We're doing now all videos as well, because we have some exciting news coming up for the future. So right now we are trying to do a lot of videos, and I don't like the fact that I wasn't as animated, but that's because I felt a little under the weather, trying to hold back this cough, which, as you can hear, is still lingering.
Right.
So,
but anyway,
I don't know how these newscasters do it on TV. if they get a
I
sneeze
know.
or a cough. But I'm trying to keep the focus and the consistency up every week with these podcasts. Doing my best, daughter.
Yeah, we're doing great. So you're doing great, sweetie. That's, Kim Kardashian, Kris Jenner's line to her daughters
We have to tie it into reality.
Had to tie it in. But no, the restaurant was such a fun experience. Anybody, I think we have a lot of Connecticut listeners. You guys should go. It's the Twisted Vine. Don't go axe throwing across the street. I think that place needs to be shut down. But I do want to go axe throwing again. We should find another place.
There are some more.
Christmas.
We will try to do that when you come for Christmas. Also, what was the other thing I was going to mention to you about the ghost thing? Oh, there's also tours throughout the year, and there's different. At one point, there were sleepovers. Can you imagine sleeping over? But I found it fascinating that this was in Connecticut and this was on television. We're one of the premier things, and it was just fascinating.
Incredible.
I think people should really go out and try something different, like ghosting. What do they call? There's also glamping. What is that? The ghosting.
Well, glamping is when you go camping, but it's actually you bring like your makeup and you bring a nice little cozy trailer. It has nothing to do with ghosts. Glamping is like what people do. It's like the civilized version of camping. Someone like you would go glamping. You'd bring like 5 suitcases. You probably have like a nice little trailer to go to at night.
It's nothing to do with ghosts?
No, glamping is like a camping phrase.
Okay. All right. We'll X that out. Okay.
Like,
do you know any stars, reality stars that glamp or go ghost hunting or do any of these? Do you ever see anything? I mean, every time you see Ben Affleck or Jennifer, they're going out to eat, holding a coffee. And, it's interesting to me what's newsworthy, because you'll see that and you'll be like, oh, Jen and Ben, they're drinking coffee. Big deal. You never see them going glamping or going axe throwing or something like what the Raspys are doing. I think we do a lot more diverse stuff.
I know. Do you realize in every photo, Ben Affleck looks so miserable? Why does he look so angry and sad?
I'm sorry, my dog just came into the room again. He just ate my 16-and-a-half-year-old dog. Yeah, he looks miserable. Miserable. I don't know what's going on with him.
I don't know if it's just he doesn't like the paparazzi or he catches it, because I only see the photos of him looking miserable with Jen, or him and his ex Jennifer Garner reuniting and having some tense, heated argument. I see the same 2 headlines every day about those things.
Really?
It's crazy.
I wonder, do you think, silly question, just, I know we're getting off the track of everything. Do you think Jen would ever we talked last time about the whole in vitro and people having babies, having the surrogates. Do you think Jen and Ben would ever do that?
That was
have a child?
So funny. You said that the other day in the car, and Dad, when we were driving back from Thanksgiving, I think you said, or maybe back from the Twisted Vine, and you said like, oh, I'm surprised Jen doesn't have a baby with Ben. And Dad's like, how old is she? And you're like 50. He's like, that's ridiculous. And you're like, no, but they could now. I remember Dad was like, that's
She's
ridiculous.
actually older, right? Isn't she like 54?
Yes, but you totally could. But I think at this point, would you have eggs that were viable? That might be the only answer. She could totally freeze her eggs with him, make embryos if the eggs would be viable at that age. I don't know if they start to if it gets less and less viable as you get older, that's, the chances of having like a strong egg, maybe it's very small, but I totally think she could do it and do a surrogate. But, they have their hands full. I feel like she only had 2 kids. He has 3 kids. I don't see her wanting more kids. Like, she tours, she's singing. I feel like they're past that phase now of raising kids, and she just wants to be married.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And we haven't seen Courtney's baby yet.
Oh my God, do we know what Courtney's baby's name is? We do, right?
Rocky 13 Barker.
Why Rocky 13?
It's after some Suicide Tendencies band member that he really likes, and then I think he also thinks the Rocky movie. And then I also think 13 is a strong number. I don't know.
It's a bad number, 13. I thought of Rocky, like Sylvester Stallone.
I think it's part of the band that he likes.
You never hear anybody named Sylvester in Hollywood, do you?
Not anymore.
Not at all. So anyway, moving on. I think we had a really good time. I was sad to see you leave. Your flight was delayed in advance. Like, we knew that it was actually not delayed, it was changed. But then when you got to the airport, it was actually delayed. So you didn't get home, you didn't get into the airport till what, 2?
Yeah.
In the morning, and then you didn't get home till like 3 something.
Like 3 a.m.
And I had a wake to go to. And that morning, we also had to drop Evan off at a different airport for him to go back to college. But you guys will all be back here in a couple weeks. But moving on, should we talk about Dancing with the Stars, or should we talk about your busy night last night?
Let's do Dancing with the Stars.
Can I say best show of the season?
Agreed.
I feel like I'm a broken record, but I took copious notes and I can barely read my writing. So I'm just going to read off while I look in the camera as well about some of the highlights that really struck me. So I think last night they did something special. They both got to do 2 dances, which I forgot about that. So that was really cool. I do know, and this part is from my memory, Ariana has an injury because when she did her dance, she was phenomenal. But, you know, I think that Carrie Ann felt there was something being held back, and she did point out the injury issue. And so I don't know if that's getting taken care of. Shout out to our Beamer friends. She should be beaming, but I don't know what she's doing for her injury. I did feel that her dance for the softer one, although it was beautiful, I tend to like when what was the first one she did? I'm just like, I look at my.
Was it the Roomba? It was fast. I know it was fast.
No, her first one was slow, wasn't it?
No, the
I wrote
first one was
twists and
fast.
turns side by side.
That was the first one.
Yeah, what that was a slower one.
No, that was a faster one. The second one was her in the blue long dress, and it was more slow. And
Oh, that was the second dress.
yeah.
Oh, she did a quick step. Was that the
Oh
quick
yes,
step
the
she
quick
did?
step. Yes.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah,
Phenomenal. I was surprised she didn't get the 10 from Carrie Ann.
me too.
So that was amazing. Can I say Daniela and Jason? Oh my goodness. I thought he was phenomenal. What an elegant showman. I do like him better. I liked him better in the second dance of the night.
The Paso Doble.
Oh, my favorite
Yeah.
dance I've ever seen him do.
Mhm.
But he did amazing in the first one. Only reason why I think is it was more slower, and they were more partial to the fact that Len would have loved that. And that's what what's his name? Derek said, and started crying again. So no, I think what happens is sometimes when they have the refined dances, it can really either highlight them or it can sort of weigh them down. What were you thinking about that?
Yeah, I agree. I think Ariana is just a superstar. She's so grateful to be there. And I really feel like I don't even view her as Vanderpump Rules. I view her so above that at this point. I think she's so talented. She's so humble. And I could seriously see her being like in the industry. I think she really was held back by Tom, seriously. But Jason and Daniela, I think they're classic. You know, he danced to a song. That he wrote that one song, the one that he danced
and
to.
I've never seen him as a singer. Do you know that?
Yeah,
so
I know.
For me to hear that in the background and looking at him dancing, I'm like, this man is so talented. I would never know that this is his voice. And then when I see him doing that classic dance, beautiful.
And we heard his song at Twisted Vine when the guy was performing. I was like, remember Jason's song came on at Twisted Vine? I was like, this is from Dancing with the Stars.
Full circle moment.
Full circle. The one thing I did not understand is Julianne was like, oh, you were thinking about quitting these past few weeks. What made you stay? I'm like, why would you quit? You're a top contender. Everyone loves you. And he's like, I stayed because she wanted to stay, his partner, Danielle. Well, how ungrateful. Why would you want to leave, dude?
That's a really good point. Did something happen? One of his scores was lower?
Maybe. I mean, it was weird that he was
like being a crybaby.
I know. That was weird.
I was thinking you were going to say maybe Julianne Hough should not even have brought that up.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not.
At all.
Yeah.
Because honestly, Alexandra, I think that Julianne Hough is great, but sometimes these questions can be a little bit, I don't know, invasive, or maybe they shouldn't be really brought into that kind of conversation, because we had no idea that, I mean, they're acting like the guy did so poorly and just had such, I mean, he should be
and was voicing it throughout the season that he was upset. Like, we didn't see any of that. So maybe that was not smart to bring up.
And I have to say, Daniela is one of my favorites. She is so humble and so classic. And how cool is that her and her husband are both in the final. I love him so much.
Me too.
I love her husband. And I gotta tell you, Ariana, I think she's in a new success level. I think her status has risen to another level. I never really watched Vanderpump Rules. I just watched towards the end with the whole, the couple ones with the whole big thing with the Scandal.
Yes.
And comes, and I know you said she could be harsh with him or whatever, but I think she's a class act. I would never know this woman was anything but classy, and she has a whole different side to her, and a side that I really love. Like, I feel like I've embraced. because I go back and forth. Who do I vote for? I thought last night they were all superstars. Val and Sochi, whatever her name is,
Sochi.
amazing. Amazing. The first one, incredible. The Spanish one, the salsa or whatever, the samba.
Oh, the samba.
I think it was a samba. I wrote it down. The second one was just another level.
Derek cried again. He said Len would have loved this. He was crying like
Yes.
hysterically. Yeah.
I was crying for that one too. And I thought that she is so humble. That girl is only 17 years old and she's amazing.
When Bruno said she's going to go far, I could totally see her winning Oscars one day. She's probably going to be able to do everything.
Do they mean for acting? That's what I was wondering. What did he mean by that?
I just think, I think he meant she's so talented that any like dance, acting, singing, I think she's just probably going to be like a threat, like a whole triple threat and be able to win an Oscar or, you know, she's just, I could totally see her. I mean, she could do dance movies now. She could, you know, it's just it's amazing.
Yeah. And by the way, I looked at my notes. It was the samba. I'm doing all this from memory, the samba. Because she's got the dance element in her back pocket, she could do Broadway.
Yes.
She could do a lot of things. That girl's going to go places. What I thought about Jenna was in the background and I don't know. She seems like she didn't want it. She wanted to keep it very professional.
Jenna? Who's Jenna?
Jenna is Val's wife.
Oh, and she was there because I saw her last night at the Christmas party. She was at the Christmas party. She was at the Christmas party last night.
That you did?
Yes. So she must have gone after.
She must have because
I saw her on the carpet, but she didn't want to be interviewed. She walked.
Oh my God.
Maybe she didn't want to because maybe she didn't know who to go to first. I don't think so. You know, it was very crowded.
Yeah, she said she was doing a Christmas party. She showed that, but then they just showed her on TV and then she must have gone to that. I have to say that I vote for Val every time, but I do, oh my God, I do love Ariana. And guess who I really loved?
Me too. I love Charity.
Sing along. Oh my gosh.
I was crying.
Gosh. I was crying.
Me too. It was beautiful.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like her sensuality, she seemed in the past very stiff and very inward. And I don't know, Alexandra, I think she's going to break up with the fiance. I just think this is new normal. And she's coming out. Like when Val's partner last year was engaged to The Bachelor, she was the Bachelorette. Or
Gabby.
Yeah. And she broke up. I just have this weird feeling that Charity is coming to her own. And I really felt they were a couple last night.
Yes.
I mean,
I was so happy for them when they got 10s. I think they got their first set of 3 10s for the second dance. I was thrilled. I mean, I could tell how badly she wanted it. Both dances. The first one, I was crying. That song was emotional. Yes. Her dance was beautiful. The second one, I was like dancing to the Boss song. I thought she killed the moves, the footwork. And I found it funny that Derek was like, you're still not giving us the emotion. And then all of his co-judges did not agree. And then the second time he stood up, he's like, that's what I wanted. I'm like, it was like, how did your perspective change in one dance? It was the same, I feel, level of emotion for both.
It was. I 100% agree. They were completely different dances. I feel like sometimes these judges are being picky with the wrong things to be picky. I thought Allison did great. She did great, but she had the worst scores. How did she get in the final?
Here's the thing. Allison is the new Harry Jousey, just in terms of who the hell is this woman's fan base. She's an older actress. She had popularity in the 90s and the early 2000s. I don't think she's acted in many years. Who is voting for her? That's what, like, does she, like, and I think she's a beautiful, nice woman, but it's like, who are her fans? Like, are there just, like, it makes no sense how she's still in the competition.
I'm still in shock that you and I both, we didn't discuss fans out there. Heather and I don't discuss anything. Most of this is just on the fly. We might have some ideas but we don't talk what we're going to say. And I can't believe you just watched it. You caught yourself up this morning. And I watched it, taking notes, crying throughout, going, oh my God, I wonder if Alexandra's going to feel this Charity. I'm loving her.
I love her.
We were not loving her. And like, I'm like, if she won, I would be okay now.
Me too.
I was like, it's so hard. It's such a hard week. And so let's tell the fans, like, who else was left in that group? Did I miss anybody?
that was it. I mean, look, Allison, I love Sasha. I love Sasha, her partner. I think
It's so cute. The little, wait, can I ask you, was that on purpose?
yes,
He jumped into her?
yes.
How the hell did she hold him up?
How did she hold him? I know. He like went into her with his head and everything. It was on purpose.
And that was
great.
the best I've ever seen her.
Me too. They did a lot of steps. There were a lot of steps in the dance. I think she's great. That's the thing, because then we got to the ending and so it was crazy. When I was watching, they were like, first person to be safe is Allison. My jaw dropped because I was like, I thought she was gonna go, and then it would make sense for everyone else to be in the finals, because this was a semi. When she didn't go, I was like shook. I was scared. And then when they said Charity was second, I was like, oh my God, Sochi or Val might go home.
Screaming at Dad, going, oh my God, I can't believe this. The two best ones are left. It was, let's tell the viewers, it was Val and Sochi and Ariana and Pashka. I love saying his name, by the way. Pashka. And those were the two highest scores, right?
Right.
And they were the two left. So let's tell the viewers, was number one, why did Allison stay? Can we figure this out? Can we surmise that? And why were those two the last to go? But then they kept everybody.
Well, that was the big twist. At the end, I was like shaking, and they said, and Ariana, you could see she was like crying. She couldn't even control herself. She was crying. And then they said, the couple dancing in the finale is both of you. And everyone went wild. I was so happy. Were you shocked?
I was shocked because I was first shocked that Allison was out of there. I was like, what? How did Allison get off the stage and get accepted?
Well, that's
and
my
they
thing.
were shocked. Do you see the judges?
No.
They were like, and then I think in the background, people were shocked.
Well, do you think the judges knew? This is the thing. Do we think that the show knew that this was the plan to have all 5 dance in the finale? It's the first time ever that
That's
nobody
what I want to know,
went
Alexandra.
home. Do you think the judges were clued in or no?
I don't think so, because I thought they looked shocked when she stayed. I thought I saw Carrie Ann.
Yeah.
Like, look, but what I don't get is how much, if it wasn't based on the judges saying let everyone stay, how much is the fan base versus the judges?
Well, this is what we ask every week, and nobody has told us the answer. We don't know the answers. We say this every week,
because
and we don't know.
They were the lowest of the leaderboard, so technically they should have been gone.
Well, was it just that the cast has become so bonded and they decided to switch it up, and their plan was always to let everyone stay, so it had nothing to do with scores, and if someone were to go, it would have been Allison? Or is it that really that Ariana and Sochi like were but like if they were tied, why wouldn't they stay and then Allison go?
Right.
Unless maybe like Allison was completely safe based on whatever the fan vote is, and it was Ariana and Sochi that were tied with their points exactly, and they let them both stay. I don't know how it was done.
That's where I don't understand, because
Me neither.
If you look at the leaderboard, they should have been the ones to leave, unless the fan base perspective is much higher than the judges' scores.
Because I don't think that they just kept everyone to keep everyone. I think they kept everyone, unless they really wanted to, shock us, and that's why they put Ariana and Sochi as one on against each other.
Maybe the judges did know, because then who was the one that said everyone stay?
Alfonso.
Oh, maybe he knew and they didn't know. Maybe the judges didn't know.
Well, they definitely, Alfonso knew. But then maybe the thing is, it would have been more, I think if everyone was going to stay, they probably purposely called Allison first to shock everyone.
That's what I was shocked.
Purposely put Sochi and Ariana at the bottom to shock everyone again, to be like, oh my God. So maybe they were always planning and it had nothing.
Yeah, you're right. Because you would have thought they would have done the good ones first.
Right.
Even though there's no order, they say.
They wanted to shock us.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do remember in the past, there was a save for a couple of the seasons where the judges could like re-vote or something and
bring
keep
back
them.
someone.
But I don't remember them keeping everybody.
This is
that
the
late
first
in
time
the
ever.
game.
No, he said it's the first time there's been 5 couples in the finale.
Okay. So that was
it was a fun moment. It was such a
I was crying. I was screaming. I thought, oh my God, you got to tell me that Sochi and Val were, I really thought Ariana was going home.
Me too. And I think she thought so too.
100%. I just find her so classy. And I just keep thinking, is she going to stay with that personal trainer guy?
And that's the only weird part. It's like I feel like she's literally come into her own and she's become her own person. But then I always forget, but she got a boyfriend like a month after breaking up with Tom. I feel like it would have been a little bit better if there was no boy involved, but he's amazing to her. He cooks, he flies out to see her every week. So maybe she just met a really good guy really quickly.
That's true. I have to tell you one more thing that I wanted to say about Dancing with the Stars. I think is really important. A couple times, I don't know if you noticed, that the judges, as well as Alfonso, they totally complimented the pros after their dance. And that was the thing we talked last
They're
week about.
listening to us. They're listening.
I feel like they're listening. They 100% made it a point to compliment the choreography from the pros. And why I don't know they didn't do this in the past weeks, your guess is as good as mine. Should be being done every week. It should be critiqued.
Yeah.
It should be critiqued every week. And it should be known that the judges, as well, are the people that are the just famous people, not the judge, not the pros, are being evaluated. And it should be verbalized. I believe that wholeheartedly, because it's a group effort. It's a duo. And that's what needs to be recognized. So I was really pleased to hear some of the choreography was really highlighted from these judges. And that made me really happy.
Yeah, me too.
And I was also crying when Danielle and her partner were talking, how they really cared for each other and what this meant to each of them.
Right.
But
I thought it was beautiful. And also Derek said to Jason, most celebrities come on the show and they don't even attempt to do that one move with the knees. And so I think that's funny because he realizes, I think they realize that some celebrities don't take it seriously. But this year, everyone has become a real true dancer. Like even Allison has grown so much. She's doing all these tricks. And I feel like they've been adding so much intense choreography to each person's, like, it's incredible. This year, every single person has become a dancer and has put their heart and soul.
And we thought last year, we were like, I love the D'Amelio one. I loved it, but this is my favorite now.
Me too. I'm hooked. I'm like, I can't believe I haven't watched Dancing with the Stars.
I'm sad. What are we going to do after next week?
I was thinking that we have to find a new show. We have to find a new show to recap. What the hell? What are we going to do? You know what we could do too? We could watch a few old seasons of Dancing with the Stars and talk about it, do like a fun old recap, but we have to find a new show. This is
we definitely have, because, we're going to be doing something, a new venture for us. I don't know. Did we tell the viewers? I don't remember if we told them if we're going to save it for a surprise.
Yeah, we're good. We have some good news about doing our podcast maybe on a bigger platform and visually. Oh yes, and shout out to Michelle Lisa. She's making us some really amazing Raspy rundown signs to hang behind us.
Oh, one of my best friends. She's an incredible artist, and she is going to get some signs going for us since we're not in the same place geographically. So we'll both have a sign behind us that says the Raspy Rundown. And we have actually business cards now that we made. We may have to work on these QR cards because I'll tell you the truth, my girlfriend said they might be a little too small.
Yeah, the QR code. We're going to fix that. But yeah, dancing. I'm excited, guys. We have, what is it, one more week, or is it two nights next week? And
I don't know. I thought it was just, I don't know if it's a double.
It's the finale. So it must be Monday and Tuesday, I think he said.
Oh my God. Is it 2 nights?
2 nights.
Okay. I'm excited.
Me too.
Hey, so I see you have your fluffy microphone on.
Yep. I got my new cover. I saw that you had Dad order you a cover to help with sound because we really want our sound to be top notch. And I was like, oh my God, that's adorable. I need that. I had a basic black cover and I'm like, why do that when I can do a fluffy, cute little number happening? And yes, this is vegan. This is faux fur, people, faux fur.
You took a little break. We put a little edit in so you could change the microphone right now. That's great. Great job.
It's so cute.
So what I want to get to right now is the pressing question. How was last night?
Yes. So last night I did the red carpet for Kathy Hilton's Christmas party, Christmas at Kathy's, hosted by DirecTV, and it was the best night of my life. It was literally a dream come true. I got to do it with a company, Celeb Secrets, and I was the sole interviewer. I had a camera person, I had a producer. They were absolutely amazing. And I was first I get there and it's frigid out. I got my hair done, I got my makeup done. I had a beautiful black dress with like a big white rose and big velvet heels. And I loved my look. I did my hair up really classic and timeless. And I got there, it was frigid. It was so cold outside. Like I was shaking. We were all shaking on the red carpet. But once I got going in the interviews, I totally forgot I was cold. And my first interview of the night was Nikki Hilton. I did Nikki, Kyle Richards, Kathy Hilton. And those were my first 3 of the night, which was crazy. Like to have right out of the gate.
The Hilton gang.
The Hilton gang right out of the gate. It was at Kathy's house. I literally was at Kathy Hilton's house. It was beautiful. It was just an amazing winter wonderland. And when I got on the red carpet, we were all chatting, like us and the other press people, and it was a very limited amount of people that were allowed to be there doing press. It was only like 3, 4, 5 outlets. And the guy next to me, we were talking, and he was like, "Oh my God, were you at Lala's book signing like 2 years ago?" And I was like, "Yes, that was me." He remembers me. He said we were in line together, and I told him I had just started at Sir and my dream was to be a host. And then there I was being a host. And I was like, Evan, it's full circle.
And his name was Evan, your brother.
He's at Page 6, and I loved him. He was so fun. We had such a great time working together all night.
Well, shout out to Page 6. Maybe you'll get something for Page 6, because that would be an amazing, you'd be a wonderful attribute. You'd be a wonderful addition to going to Page 6. I mean, you know, be great. So you did a fabulous job. I can't wait to see the footage. I know you sent me a lot of photos. I couldn't wait to share with all my friends and family. So proud of you. So proud of that. You know, as I wrote on your comment in my comments, that, you know, you're the best manifested faster there is, and manifestation and determination are your name, Alexandra.
I actually think I said I was going to like do
MD, like Poppy, my father.
Well, that's every doctor.
What?
That's like a doctor is an MD, right?
My dad was a doctor. He's watching over you.
Yep, MD. I actually think I wrote in my journal that I wanted to do my first red carpet before the year ended, like this year. So that's kind of cool, because it's like
you nailed it.
Yeah.
Did you really write that?
I think I really was writing like, this year I'll be on the red carpet, and I kept saying this year. And I guess it is still 2023, so that is this year.
Right, because, you know, we did say, you know, your manifestation is great. You've done red carpets, but not like this. You did the red carpet for the what was that Korean soul band? What was the?
No, they're just a pop band. The North Star Boys.
So that was when you first moved there. Still, you did that, but this was
huge. This was like BravoCon. It was. I interviewed every single housewife. I interviewed Heather McDonald from Juicy Scoop, who I listened to weekly, her podcast. And it's funny because she said on her podcast, she was describing the party. She said all the girls had their hair up in a bun with the 2 pieces down. I was like, that was me and Sheena wore our hair like that. So she saw Sheena and I with our hair like that.
She talked about you on the podcast.
Yes. And then she said that like a girl interviewed me, and she was talking about the questions I asked her. And like, cause she obviously really liked that question. I asked, what is like a Bravo Roman Empire moment of yours? Something that you really like, an iconic scene from the Bravo verse that has stuck with you all these years. She gave a hilarious answer because she's a comedian, and it was amazing. And then we got to go into Kathy Hilton's party, and I had caviar. Oh my God. There were drinks, all the drinks were like nutmeg. She had real snow all on the ground. I almost slipped 10 times. Beautiful, her house. And
how did she get real snow?
She's rich, and she had like 20 Christmas trees all decorated with like vintage snow and tinsel. It's beautiful. And then there were these amazing peppermint balls that were going around on a tray. They're literally the best chocolate I've ever had in my life. They melted in your mouth.
So I got to stop you, because I have a bunch of questions to ask you that I prepared, because I came prepared to this interview, and you're giving it all away. So before you talk about the food, I have a bunch of questions I want to ask you, because it's already coming out in what you're discussing with the public. My first question is, what was your favorite interview of the night, and what was your most memorable moment of the night?
This is so good. Your questions. You're interviewing me now.
Okay, yeah. So what was your favorite interview of the night?
My favorite interview.
Let's start with that. Oh, you know what? Let's start with your favorite interview of the night and your most awkward interview of the night.
Okay.
Before we do memorable, let's just talk about your interviews.
My favorite interview of the night, I think, might have to be Kyle Richards, because I talk about her all the time. I'm so invested in like the Morgan Wade of it all. And she just is, you know, working out now. She doesn't drink. And so I've just been so fascinated with her life evolution over the last few months. I feel like I'm always reading about her and talking about her. So I really feel like that's crazy. Like, I love her. And to be able to interview her was so amazing. She's so nice, so great. Everyone was so nice. And I got to say, maybe 1 or 2 awkward interviews. Okay. The most awkward interview was the Bachelor girl. I interviewed a girl from the Bachelorette, and I won't say her name. Well, okay. Her name, well, I don't.
Should you not? Better not.
I won't say her name, but it's just, she had no answers. Like, I was like,
you might be moving to another venue. We don't want to say names.
Yeah. You know, she was a lovely, nice girl, but this was I assumed that most people at this event watched Bravo, because it was a women in reality TV event. Like, all the women there were reality stars, and and she said she doesn't watch reality TV. A few people said, I don't watch reality TV. And I'm like, how, as a reality star, don't you watch it? So I asked her, like, what Bravo show, do you watch? None. Okay, well, but she's like, I know of them. So I'm like, well, if any franchise you could be on, which franchise would it be? I don't know. Okay, like, you don't know. Next question, like, oh, what's a secret about you? Because we're called celeb secrets. So what's a fun fact the fans wouldn't know? I don't know. I say everything. Okay, this is just like a dead interview. Like, there's no, like, it was just like by the third question, I'm like, I want to get her out of here. I was like, can you just say happy holidays to the camera? Because I was getting literally nothing, and it wasn't fun. She had no answers. I was like, who would give the best Secret Santa gift in your family? My mom. Like, just, there was no answers. Like, it was really.
So I am really proud of myself. I got some good questions here. I think I'm learning from the best you.
Yeah.
I'm proud of myself for asking these.
Those are good
So let me
questions.
ask you, as a follow-up, how did you handle that when she was so awkward? Isn't that hard as an interviewer to handle that?
Yeah, it's hard. So that's why I kind of, I gave her, like, by the third question that I was getting nothing from, I just was like, let me wrap this up and just like end with a cute little message, because by the third question, I could gauge that this was going nowhere. And this was going to be the theme of the questions each time. And you don't watch Bravo, so that like X's out most of my questions. You don't want to play any fun games. You don't have any secrets. So there's nothing, I'm not getting anything out of you, and I don't think I will. And I didn't know anything really, and I didn't know a lot about her. Like, I know of her, but I didn't have specific questions about her life. So maybe that was my fault too. Like, but there was nothing I was getting from fun, generic questions. So at that point, I was kind of like, just end the interview.
And you didn't know everybody that was going to be there, correct?
No, when we got there, we got a page. Like, DirecTV gave us a script of every person appearing with their headshot and their name and what show they're on. And I knew most of them. I mean, I know of most of them. So
like, you had to formulate questions in your head right there on the spot. I know you had
I had
questions.
Generic questions that like are good for everyone, like, Christmas questions and things like that. But I mainly knew every single one, and my producers were great. Like, the people filming me who was worked with my team, like, there was a drag queen who's really popular. I didn't know that she was just going on tour, but the guy I was working with knew. So he told me, ask this question, and I asked it. She loved it. It went great. So it's just like on the spot. You got to be ready to roll.
You are, Alexandra. You really are. So that's a great answer. But I have to say, again, I'm proud of myself. Okay,
yeah, I am too. These are good questions.
I wrote it right away as soon as you went for your thing. And because honestly, Alexandra, I had all the confidence in the world, but I didn't know how many outlets were going to be there. I didn't know if you were going to really get all these interviews. And like you told me, your team was like impressed. They said they'd never gotten this many interviews in their life, and they're going to recommend you to do all the red carpets going forward for Celeb Secrets. And then also, there's only 5 outlets that were there.
And my friend Steph, who I worked with, she texted me and she's like, I can't wait for our next one. I was like, that's so sweet. Like, that makes me feel so good. I can't wait.
Did you hear back from the owner yet or not yet?
Not yet. She's so busy. She does so many things. So once she reviews the footage, then I'll write some stories about it. I'll be able to post it. But it was the best night of my life. And
you got to tell the viewers where they're going to see the footage.
Yes.
So they can see this,
Yes.
First and foremost, right?
Yes.
Like, where you're going to be present. You think on social media apps like Instagram and whatever.
Instagram, TikTok. I'll post it on my channels too. Celeb Secrets. You can always look them up on Instagram. But it was a great time. And to answer your next question, my most memorable moment,
right?
Probably
of the night.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be the interview. Could be anything.
No, a fun moment I loved is when I looked across the carpet and I saw Heidi D'Amelio, and she recognized me right away and like gave me a big heart and was waving and was so excited, because I interviewed her a few months ago at the Grove. And it's funny, I always have my hair different every time I'm at these things, or my makeup, so I never know who will remember me. And that was just so sweet. I literally turned and she was so nice, so excited to see me all the way from down the carpet. So that like was a really memorable
And what
moment.
did she say? You said she spoke to somebody?
I heard her tell the guy like who runs the carpet, like, oh, this is my niece's friend from high school. I'm sure he asked like, oh, who's that? But it was really cute. So that was a fun moment.
That's amazing. That's a great answer. And what was the food like inside the venue? I know you started to talk about chocolate balls. And what would you say would be the most unusual thing you tried and the most tasty thing you loved?
I would say
as well as what the food was.
So we walked inside. There was literally the most expensive vending machine. I forget what the champagne was, but it was a vending machine full of champagne bottles. Yes.
I was like, the heck is she sending me a vending machine? I actually deleted the photo because it was a part of the house, and then it went to the vending machine. I didn't know that was champagne, and I thought it was
like the most expensive Monet champagne in there. And then you put a
oh my gosh,
champagne. It was amazing.
I need that photo
I
back.
kept the cork. It's the most expensive champagne you could have. I kept the cork.
Oh my God, would they ever let me come as a mother-daughter duo?
I know, it was so cool. That was the
The
best.
Raspy.
I know, the Raspys. And then
Can I could be your like chaperone.
you could be
or
my
your
plus one if
one.
I ever get to go to one of those, and you could be my plus
Yeah.
one. So then there was charcuterie. It was more of like a cocktail hour.
Okay.
And then it was weird because when I was leaving, I saw a waitress bringing out plates of steak and pasta. I think it was just for the actual Hiltons. There was like a room of like more like Hilton people. I think it was for them. But there was charcuterie, and then there was Meredith Marks, one of the housewives. She has caviar. She has a caviar brand. Her caviar was there. So we were able to try the caviar, and it was
What was it like? I've never tried it. It's fish eggs, but
yeah, it's gross.
that's why I never tried it.
Gross. It's gross. But it
You
was
tried?
yes, it was my first time trying it, and it was gross.
It's like eating spiders on what was that show? Those disgusting insects, Survivor.
Yeah. Yeah. And so there was that, and then there was a bar with all the drinks were like Christmas themed, so they tasted like nutmeg and cinnamon, which was really cute. And then they were passing around. I think I missed most of the food because I was interviewing. But then they had these little chocolate balls that were like literally like brownies but peppermint, and the moment they got in your mouth, they melted. It was incredible. I had like 10. Every time she passed, I would take another.
Oh my, but I thought you weren't interviewing when you went inside.
Exactly, but because I was outside interviewing, the party had started. Like once they go inside. So they were eating the food all night. And
I thought you killed it with Kathy Hilton's interview and her daughter.
yeah.
I don't know. Paris probably just was recovering from having her second.
Well, she didn't give birth, but yes.
I know.
She's just
I specifically said the second surrogate. But yeah, so and then did you talk to all the Hilton sisters?
Yes. Well, okay. So Kim Richards, I did talk to her, but not on camera. Like I bumped into her a few times and said hi and just smiled. But I didn't know if she wanted to be interviewed, but then she interviewed with Page 6, but I mainly stuck with Kathy and Kyle. But yeah, all three Richards sisters were there because there was a lot of tension in the past between them, but they were all getting along.
There was?
Yes. Oh my God. Every season there's fallouts. It was horrible. Only two sisters at a time. There's always one sister on the outs at all times. It's so sad.
Is that you're talking about on the Beverly Hills Housewives?
And in real life, like just throughout the years, they've had
so when we do our new venue, you're gonna have to give me homework. I'm gonna need to do this over the holiday season. I'm gonna vow to you that you need to tell me to start watching these housewife shows or anything reality, since we're gonna be doing a lot more reality. I'm good on the fly, but I sort of feel like I need to catch up. I don't know any other than I've watched in the past many years ago, New York Housewives, and I loved it. And I watched a couple episodes with Olivia of the Housewives of Beverly Hills. But other than that, I haven't done anything consistently. Vanderpump Rules, no reality TV for me. So I need you to give me some homework so I can be present, as well as some things maybe you'll just surprise me with and tell me about. But if there's anything you need me to do homework wise, I will do that.
You need to start watching the new season of Beverly Hills. There's only 4 episodes. Please just go and watch because they need to be caught up. It is the most amazing season. Kyle's marriage is on there. It's just it's juicy, and I need you to watch that. So
all right, so you will give me daughter Alexandra, you will give me that homework, because guess what?
I just did.
But guess what? You got to text it to me so I don't forget, or set it up for recording or whatever. Tell me what do I download on Netflix? Is it on Netflix?
It's on Xfinity. So you can watch them. Just type in the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and you can watch them, but we'll talk about it after. Okay, let's finish up. Give me some of your questions.
So you told me a little bit about the menu. I want to know who was the nicest person you met there. I know you said you spoke to Heather Dubrow.
Heather Dubrow, yeah.
And the other lady that you said talked about you and mentioned you on the podcast, which she said you had a great question, Heather McDonald, I actually met at my 50th because she did a comedy show in New York City and I have photos with her, but you didn't get a chance to tell her that. So I'm wondering who was like the most embracing star to work, to talk to interview, like who really resonated with you? I know you were excited about Kyle, but who really surprised you and really sort of left a mark on you? Or could that have been Kyle?
Everyone was so nice. Heather Dubrow and I were matching. We both had black with white roses. That was so fun. And when I told her that I discovered her show, because last season there was a whole debacle about her being an actress. She was an actress for years before she got married. but now people are like, her cast members were like, you're just the plastic surgeon's wife. Like, you haven't worked since the 1800s. And they really put down her acting career, and it was mean. And that led me to look at what she had done and discover a show with Paul Sorvino that was on CBS for 3 years called That's Life. And it's an amazing show. I love it. I watched all 2 seasons, like as soon as I discovered it. And I told her and her husband on the carpet, they were so happy and thankful. I could see they were really pleased by that. But I think maybe like one of my favorites, it was so nice. Like the ones that we can just like Alexis Bellino from Orange County, like the ones that are just like grabbing me and laughing with me and like being like a girlfriend. That's always really fun. But probably like Gertie from the Real Housewives of Miami. She was diagnosed with breast cancer this past season, which is playing out right now. And she beat it. She's in recovery, but she told me, "You're beautiful." I was like, "You're beautiful, Gertie." Like everyone was just so nice.
Oh, well, you are beautiful. And I really love the fact that you took my suggestion and put that gorgeous hair of yours up and give a different.
And it looks so thick.
Well, you do have thick hair, but it gave another sophistication level. I mean, everybody was writing on their comments, "She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous." Okay, that's like a no-brainer. You're gorgeous. I wanted to put it out there that you're talented, you're successful, and you're going places. You're already there. And unfortunately for me, you're in California and I'm here, but I'm going to get myself out there more often. And if our podcast really takes off the way I hope it does going forward on this other venue, I'd love to be out there in person filming with you as well. So you're doing a great job. I'm looking forward to more celeb secrets, right? Celeb secrets.
More secrets out there. Amazing night. And I will keep you guys updated once the footage drops. But yeah, I had the best time.
Yeah. And also, I mean, you really, really seemed so in your
element,
right? I mean, not to brag, but so many people were so shocked that this was really your first time. Like, where have you been?
Yeah.
And this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to.
I like black out. Like, I don't even remember what I say or
yeah, you said your interviews, they said, "Oh my gosh, Alexandra, they're very long."
Yeah.
And you felt they were like 30 seconds, right? But they were much longer. And then my final question is, what was her house like? And what was her husband like?
He was not there. Rick did not make an appearance. It was only women and like people's plus ones, but Rick was not there. He probably was maybe upstairs sleeping or maybe he was somewhere around the house, but I didn't meet him, unfortunately. But her house is gorgeous. It's just like a stunning, beautiful, like the tiles and like every room was just beautiful, well decorated. Obviously, so many beautiful Christmas trees. I mean, I sent you the photo of me in front of the Christmas tree, and there's a little thing that says Christmas at Kathy's. I sent you it. I'll send it again. And it was just the most amazing like house. Beautiful. The backyard is stunning. I mean, it's big enough to have a red carpet in their driveway. I mean, it's her main house that she lives in all year long.
Where else does she live?
Well, I'm sure she has homes all over, but this is her actual house that she lives in.
And were there any animals running around? You know me and the doggies.
Not one animal, no.
Does she have animals? Or
I don't know. I don't think so. But it was amazing.
And what about, why didn't Lisa Vanderpump come?
That's a good question. Oh, well, maybe because her and Kyle are on, Kyle and Lisa Vanderpump had a big fallout a few years ago. So I'm sure she doesn't run in the circuit anymore.
Were most of the Vanderpump people there?
James and Allie.
Saw a picture of that.
Katie Maloney, Sheena and Brock. And that was it. Because Ariana was at dancing.
Why wasn't Lala there?
She's on vacation for her mom's birthday.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, it sounds like it was, you had said it was the best night ever, that it wasn't just like on a small level. You've been to parties, Hollywood homes and all that. But basically, to me, this was the highlight because you were the main interviewer. You didn't have other people working with Celeb Secrets. It was only you and your crew.
Right. So, it was the best night. So yeah. Anyways, I'll keep everyone updated on more red carpets and events.
And a wonderful, fun episode of great laughs, great surprises. And I just want to congratulate you one more time on your wonderful debut of the red carpet. You were wonderful. I'm so proud. And I can't wait to see you in a few weeks.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. And yeah, this has been a great episode. We'll talk to you guys next time.
And really good things for January to come.
Yes. Bye.
Bye, everybody.